Let's go!
2025 might just be the biggest year in Mario history, with it not only being Mario's 40th anniversary, but also the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. Whether it's a sports game, RPG, Mario Kart, or big mainline 3D Mario title, there are so many potential Mario games we might get, and that doesn't even begin to break into the other spin-offs featuring the whole cast of characters such as Luigi, Toad, Wario, Yoshi, and more. So in today's video, I'm going to go through every sub-series within the Mario franchise and say whether or not it's possible for us to get one of those games this year. But not just that. I'll be giving each section a percentage in terms of how likely I think it is, but also I'll be giving entire concepts for what these games could be. And also, I guess this is a bit of a spoiler, but I think some of these games will actually launch on Switch 1 as well. I'll get into that later in the video, but for now, we gotta jump in because this could be the biggest year yet for Mario, so we got a whole lot to cover. Hey guys, welcome to the Switch Stop's first video of 2025. We're going over every possible Mario game we could get this year. First up, let's talk about 3D Mario. Ever since Super Mario 64, these have been the big tentpole release for the Mario franchise. And given that it's almost been 8 years since Super Mario Odyssey, I am giving us a 99% chance we will get a 3D Mario game this year. However, what's that Mario game gonna be? Well, first things first, this will be a Nintendo Switch 2 title. I am leaning towards it being a launch title. However, it's either going to be a launch title or the big holiday title for this year. Personally though, I bet it'll be launch. It will be a Switch 2 exclusive. There are going to be some games later on in this video that I think will release this year, but will be Switch 1 games, meaning you can still play them on Switch 2 and they might even have graphical enhancements, but you can play them natively on Switch 1 as well. This will not be one of them. This is going to be the game that sells systems, and my pitch for a new 3D Mario game is not Odyssey 2, although that would be awesome. I just think it's a little late for that. I'm thinking of a Bowser's Fury style game, where imagine there's one massive overworld that houses different platforming challenges. The big twist I think we can expect in this game though will definitely take advantage of the power of the Switch 2. I'm talking about dynamically changing overworlds. We actually also kind of got this in Bowser's Fury, where Fury Bowser would come out and it would all go to nighttime. Imagine a massive overworld that like changes seasons. So maybe there's a winter level that you can turn into the summer theme, and then ice that might be blocking certain paths melts, opening up new platforming challenges. Something like that, where this massive overworld can transform into something else pretty quickly, would definitely show off the power of Switch 2. Anyway, that's just my idea for a 3D Mario game, and again, I think that will likely be a launch title, but if it isn't a launch title, it'll be the big holiday release this year. The only reason I say that is because I'm pretty confident we will get Mario's other biggest series, that being Mario Kart as well. And then naturally, if 3D Mario is the launch title, Mario Kart will be in the holidays or vice versa. However, I think Mario Kart will be Nintendo's big holiday title in 2025. I'm slightly less confident than I am for 3D Mario, so instead of giving this a 99%, I'm dropping it down to like a 90. But I would still be very surprised, shocked even, if we did not get a Mario Kart game this year. I think this one's mechanic could be as cool as taking like the Wonder Flower from Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which could then completely change up courses, adding new mechanics and gimmicks, alternate paths or shortcuts for maybe like the final lap or something. I also really hope this next Mario Kart game has consistent updates worth of content, because yeah, there is something to be said about just getting a fully complete game and then they just never touch it again. Even if the game initially has to launch a little light on content, I'd be more than happy if that meant we got like free courses added in as updates, because the Booster Course Pass hype cycle was just so fun, seeing what new courses we were gonna get every couple of months. But yeah, I think the Wonder Flower or something akin to that could be an awesome gimmick for the next Mario Kart. Speaking of the Wonder Flower, now let's turn our attention to 2D Mario. And I'm kind of clumping Mario Maker in with this as well. I don't think we will get a 2D Mario game this year. There's just no way. I already said I think we're getting a 3D Mario game and a Mario Kart, if we also get a new 2D Mario game or a new Mario Maker, that would just be insane. Obviously, they're gonna go crazy with the Mario titles this year because that's gonna sell a lot of Switch 2 units. However, there's just no way they do all 3 of those within their first year because you also kind of want to space it out so that, you know, people continue to buy the console. However, this does lead me into a bit of a shocker prediction, but I am giving a 25% chance, which is honestly pretty high, to the fact that we will get an HD port of Super Mario 3D Land on the Nintendo Switch 1. Obviously, you'd be able to play it on Switch 2 as well, but it'll be released as a Switch 1 title. This is kind of crazy and not something I've really heard anyone else talk about, so why am I saying this? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, again, it's Mario's 40th anniversary. They're gonna want to have a decent amount of Mario games releasing this year. However, all the big brand new ones are gonna be Switch 2 exclusive to try and sell that console. With that being said though, the Switch 1 has like 100 bajillion units out there, so because there's just more possible people who will be able to buy a Switch 1 game than a Switch 2 game, you still want to release something on that console, kind of like how Nintendo put out 3DS games after the Switch itself launched. A port of Super Mario 3D Land just makes the most sense. It is a 3D Mario game, and if you add in co-op, that adds something completely new to this title that would definitely get people to purchase. We've also seen Nintendo port over a lot of 3DS games in the past, most recently with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD and Donkey Kong Country Returns HD seemingly taking some inspiration from the 3DS port of that game as well. They're not taking up that much development time because they're going to want to be working on Switch 2 games. However, this is just a 3DS port, which is something we've seen many times before and doesn't take a lot of effort from Nintendo, but it's also a port of a 3D Mario game, so it would sell well. I don't know, I think this one's actually pretty likely. That's why I'm giving it a 1/4 or 25% chance, because again, I wouldn't like bet a ton of money on this, but I think it just makes a lot of sense. Next, let's move on to a Mario sports game. This is another title that I think could potentially be a Switch 1 release instead of a Switch 2 title. Given that a lot of the Mario sports games have been leaning very heavily into online recently, it just kind of makes more sense to have that style of game also be playable on the base Switch, so the online player base gets a significant boost. Also, out of all the Mario series that could use the extra power boost Switch 2 would give, Mario sports games are not one of them. I'm specifically talking about a Mario baseball game here, and I'm not going to go into exactly what I would want to see in that game because we already made a whole video building the perfect Mario baseball game. So if you're interested, I'll link it at the end of this video. And real quick, if that video sounds interesting, you're enjoying this video, or just so excited for Switch 2, please hit the subscribe button. It truly does mean a lot. It helps out the channel, and trust me when I say we have so many insane videos planned for Switch 2. We also have 2 like 3.5, 4 hour long videos that we're putting the finishing touches on right now. So there's about to be a ton of content uploaded on this channel. If you're interested, subscribing's the best way to guarantee that you could actually see it. Alright, so Mario baseball game, probably releasing on both Switch 1 and Switch 2. I'm giving this one 40% likelihood. We got Mario Tennis Aces in 2018, Mario Golf Super Rush in 2020, Mario Strikers Battle League came out in 2022. Now we're in 2025, realistically, we're due for this title. I've said many times throughout this video, 2025 is going to be a huge year for Mario, but in terms of Mario RPG games, 2024 is almost impossible to beat. We got a remake of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which is insane to say. Mario and Luigi as a whole got revived, and then even a little bit before that, we got a Super Mario RPG remake, and nothing else of note happened. No, I'm kidding, but seriously though, talking about a Mario RPG coming out in 2025 feels like a Herculean task. The only potential thing I could see happening would be maybe a remake of the original Paper Mario, but even that seems so unlikely because we just got Thousand Year Door remade. So I'm just gonna say no, we're not getting a Mario RPG this year. Mario Party, same thing. I am so happy with how Super Mario Party Jamboree came out, so I just want Nintendo Cube to just cook again, and that way the first Mario Party of the Switch 2 era can be a banger. Definitely don't rush something out. Also, we just got a game like 2 months ago. Next thing I want to talk about is like a random Mario puzzle game. Sometimes we get these on the eShop, although we never really did throughout the Switch era. I guess the only like Mario puzzle game, quote unquote, we got was Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which was also just at the start of 2024, so no, we're not getting this one either. However, now we gotta lean into some of the fun stuff. We're talking about not just Mario, but the other characters from the Mushroom Kingdom. Which of these bizarre guys is gonna be getting their own game? Well, let's talk about it. I want nothing more than for a big, grand DK game, whether it's a new 2D Donkey Kong Country game finishing out this more modern trilogy, or a massive 3D platformer, more. I want both of those, but I don't think we'll get either because we're getting Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. So I guess technically, yeah, we are getting a Donkey Kong game this year. It comes out in like 2 weeks, but it's hard for me to even count this game as a new game because it's not a new game and it also looks worse than the Wii version that came out like over a decade ago. So I don't know. It's just Moving on, I'm gonna group up two different characters together, those being Yoshi and Princess Peach. Unfortunately for fans of both Yoshi and Princess Peach, the reason I'm grouping them up together is because I don't think we're getting either of them. Princess Peach never really had her own game series. She had one on the DS and then just recently got Princess Peach Showtime. That game was actually developed by Goodfeel, and that is the company who has been in charge of the Yoshi games, making Yoshi's Woolly World and then Crafted World on the Switch. I do think we will be getting a new Yoshi game somewhat soon. Crafted World came out in 2019. However, Goodfeel did just release Princess Peach Showtime, so I doubt they have another project ready for this year. And even though I did not like Yoshi's Crafted World at all, Yoshi's Woolly World is one of my favorite games of all time, so I don't want Nintendo to like take the Yoshi IP away from Goodfeel. I just think Crafted World was like a horrible misstep, but I have faith they can recover. But it won't be in 2025. I don't think we're getting a Yoshi or Princess Peach game this year. Toad is an interesting one though. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker was one of my favorite games when it came out on the Wii U, pulling the same level design from the Captain Toad levels from Super Mario 3D World, but making them into their entire own campaign, and then bringing that campaign to Switch, adding in co-op and another DLC campaign if you're into it. Man, I love Treasure Tracker. I think it's a banger, and I sneakily think it's time we get a sequel. To me, this just seems like the perfect Switch 1 game to come out within the Switch 2's first year or so. This even kind of happened with Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, as when Treasure Tracker came to the Switch about a year and a couple months after it initially launched, they also still brought Treasure Tracker in 2018 to the 3DS, which was, you know, I mean, it was kind of dead by that point, but it just goes to show that Nintendo does love to support their previous console if it has the install base to warrant it. And the Switch has a massive install base. In fact, it's larger than the 3DS's, so it feels like, okay, of course they'd still put a game on the Switch 1. A sequel to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker just feels like that kind of small game that they'd love to do that with. I'm gonna give it like a 30% chance. Same thing with a Wario game. Will this be a WarioWare title? I don't know. We did just get WarioWare Move It at the end of 2023, and although the Wario Land series has been on ice for a while, it does seem like the small type of game that would be perfect for Switch 1 after Switch 2's already released. I do think it's less likely than Captain Toad though, so I'm gonna give it like a 15%. That covers it for Wario, but now let's move to Mario's green brother, Luigi. Specifically, the Luigi's Mansion series, because this one is really interesting in my opinion. Luigi's Mansion 3 came out Halloween 2019, and Luigi's Mansion was kind of a smaller series before this. Luigi's Mansion 1 had a cult following, and then the 3DS one, some people liked, some people didn't. But Luigi's Mansion 3 not only received so much critical success, but it sold so incredibly surprisingly well that it's all but guaranteed Luigi's Mansion 4 will be launching within the first couple of years of the Nintendo Switch 2. Will it be this year, 2025? No, I don't think so. In fact, I give it a 0% chance. But what I do give a sneaky, like 45% chance is getting a trailer announcement for Luigi's Mansion 4 within this calendar year. I just wanted to toss that out because I feel like a lot of people are kind of sleeping on the Luigi's Mansion series. I genuinely believe this is going to be one of Nintendo's biggest series going forward, just because the success of Luigi's Mansion 3 blows me away. It sold so many units. So yeah, I think we'll get that game pretty soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get a trailer this year. Okay, last but not least, let's get weird. No, seriously, every once in a while, Nintendo puts out just some weird Mario game. Granted, they did this a lot more in the older days with stuff like Mario's Pinball Land, or games like that that just kind of make you do a double take. But hey, even in the launch year of Nintendo Switch, we got a Mario plus Rabbids turn-based RPG developed by Ubisoft. Some of you may know my opinions on that game's actual gameplay loop, so we won't get into that here, but one thing I cannot deny is that game is weird in all the best possible ways. I love it when Nintendo tries weird stuff with Mario like this, so that's my question. Just as we got Mario plus Rabbids at the start of the Switch, do you think we get another weird Mario game at the start of the Switch too? I don't think it's impossible, but I guess just by the nature of this being an out-of-the-box idea, it would therefore be something we can't really predict. But I want to hear what you guys would want down in the comments below, so leave a comment, and also if you made it this far, comment one dream Mario game that you want to release this year, 2025, and I'll be reading as many comments as I can and hearting them. I hope everyone has a great new year from all of us here at Switch Stop. Thank you guys for the support you showed us in 2024. 2024, and we promise we'll be making the best possible content we can in 2025. You guys are all the best. We'll see you soon. I'm Thomas from the Switch Stops, signing off. Peace.